One of the things that I think that it's imperative to avoid in your life for your own mental sanity and just peace of mind, especially as you get older and you know what you want in life, is to avoid people who are willfully ignorant. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. And I feel like when you avoid people who are willfully ignorant, um, people that choose to be misinformed, people who choose to make decisions, people who choose to not know the results, the consequences to their actions is what I'm trying to say. You know, I avoid that like the plague. In fact, when I encounter someone who's willfully ignorant, now I become deaf, mute, blind, and I also develop a bad case of amnesia because you are so totally forgotten about. Um, so I'll give you an example of people who choose to be willfully ignorant. And I'll throw out something which I'm sure many women have encountered, is especially when you're a part of a friend group and someone has done something within that friend group to you, right, where they've been disrespectful or something like that. They've been disrespectful, they've lied, they've betrayed, they whatever they've done, and you share that, or other people in the friend group have noticed that but have done nothing. They've choose to still continue to align themselves with that other person, and they say, oh well, I'm I'm that's between you and her, or you and whatever person, and I'm not going to choose, because they haven't done anything to me. Okay. All right. So by you choosing not to make a decision, by you choosing not to really, look at the facts and stand on business, that pretty much tells me everything that I need to know about you. Your silent complacency, whatever you want to call it, that means that you've already chosen a side and I need to move accordingly. I'll give you another thing. If someone has betrayed you, disrespected you, and then come back, and then you want to have a conversation about said person's behavior, and oh, what are you talking about? I don't know. I think you misinterpreted. I think there's this whole thing, trying to, gaslight you, make you think that it was something else when it really was. And then choosing not to acknowledge their actions or own up to it. People who refuse to apologize. I'm sorry you feel that way. Nope, that's not going to apply here. You need to take accountability for your actions that led to said responses, and then, then we can have a real conversation and then possibly reflect on moving forward. When people don't accept responsibility or accountability or acknowledge the facts that you've told me all I need to know, there's no need to try and have a conversation and and do all this and me try to see your. No, I've said we've done all that. In the workplace, it happens a lot in the workplace too. The manager assigns you all of this work, all of this extra work, more than, everybody else on the team, and then wants to act brand new when you can't get such and such done, or when it comes time to, get the reviews, get your raises, get your bonuses, get your things, you know, when you stop accepting willful ignorance as a part of your life, I'm sure that, 99.999% of the stuff, the headache, the stress, the back and forth will probably clear up. And everybody's different. So, if this is not you, I understand. But I tell you, life is so much stressful when you refuse to accept that. And at the age I'm at now, I'm 46. I'm across the board with it. Everybody is equal. You know, that's including family. That's including, you know, friends or associates, colleagues, you know, workplace and things like that. Everybody is the same. And even, you know, on social media, when you try to have conversations and things like that, sometimes it can happen too when there's polarization, but there's people that refuse to listen. There's people that may refuse to examine the facts. I also think literacy plays a heavy part into this as well. When you have people sometimes who can't read, write, comprehend, or extrapolate information and apply it where it needs to go. You know, because I definitely think it's comprehension skills as well. But also people who are very heavily codependent and, you know, they just don't um, you know, like I think people who are relationally lazy, you know, that's my word. I don't think that's a real word, but you know, I think that's my word that I'm making up right here and now. I think people who are just relationally lazy and don't want to do any work when it comes to like, you know, standing on business, having difficult conversations, owning up to poor or bad behavior, things of that nature. And you find that people tend to do that. And you could see some of that in, you know, some of the work that I've done, you know, when you see how people respond to it. And it's like, you know, when you're not willing to take a look within and own up to it and do better, be better, that's okay, you know. So that's my thought for today. I hope that helps. Thanks so much.